And start.
And hey, you guys. What's up? Chanel.
Hey. Hi.
Steven.
Hey, Chanel.
Steven over there in his library. I'm so jealous of your setting.
Thank you. That's nice. That was nice of you. I was waiting for the dig, but
No dig. Just
no
a compliment.
dig. So that was just true.
That's
not
just
a true. Not a true lie.
Oh, not a true lie. Also, okay, wait. Do you want to start at the title?
We can start the title. Hi, everyone. This week we're talking about True Lies.
True Lies, 1994?
Right.
1994.
I mean, we had done some work with Jamie Lee Curtis, but we didn't spend that much time with her in Halloween and Halloween Kills because she's only on camera for 10 minutes. So we're going to give it another go.
We did want to dip back into Jamie Lee. There was talk of perhaps another Jamie Lee movie. Maybe Freaky Friday.
Maybe Freaky Friday was the original choice.
But I don't know whose bright idea it was.
I think it was mine. I think it was mine. I pushed hard for True Lies because I wanted to see it.
You pushed hard for True Lies, and I didn't do any research beforehand.
I didn't do any research either. The name just sounded intriguing.
So they got you. They got you.
They got me.
The True Lie got you.
Now, okay, I think what we first have to start with, and we don't have any admin work to do, so we can just dive right in.
Yeah, no 5-star reviews this week.
No new reviews. So the movie is hard to find. Okay, that was the first challenge.
The first hurdle.
It's strange because when you go on Amazon Prime and you search the movie, it says this movie is not available in your country.
Nope.
Which is strange. Okay, this
never
is
had it happen, really.
Never had it.
Truly.
Well, not for like a blockbuster
$100 million movie.
Okay. And you're usually like kind of, you love trivia. You love Trivial Pursuits.
Yeah, I am a trivia bitch.
Did you know that this was the first movie? You probably did. The first movie to have $100 million budget.
I looked it up and I was like, that must be the gimmick. That must be why.
That's the get.
That's it. That's the only thing.
I mean,
and
horses are expensive, as we'll get into.
Oh,
and elevators. Okay, so the movie.
Yeah, you can't find it.
It's not on any of the streaming platforms. It wasn't. You can't rent it anywhere.
Can't even rent it.
DVDs. Okay, this would have been okay if you're at a like dollar bin at Best Buy right now and you see a copy of True Lies,
snag it, snatch it,
because the resale market for True Lies is a cottage industry. Like you can make money reselling these DVDs because I don't think they're printing anymore.
Hell no, fuck no.
So.
And I can't help but feel like it's a little intentional of a Barry.
Well, right. And so when you watch the movie, and as we'll get into, I think that there is a reason why there's been a scorched earth campaign to get this movie off of this planet. It's becoming harder and harder to access True Lies.
I don't think our children will be able to find this movie.
Absolutely not.
No way. It's gone.
No way.
This is a relic, a lost in time.
A relic, unless, and I always wondered about these, but you know when your elementary school would bury a time capsule?
Yes.
But you know what's
I'm
weird?
familiar.
You know what's weird about time capsules? I've been present for, and I hate bragging, but I've been present for a number of time capsule burials, okay?
They've always felt very special.
Very special, very
it's
special.
Like an honor.
I've never been there when the time capsule is retrieved.
Never
Nope. Been there for that ceremony. So it's possible that somebody buried a True Lies DVD in a time capsule in the mid-90s. But
that's exciting. Thinking about that is getting me through today. I hope someone buried
there
this
has to be
movie.
There has to be at least one time capsule with a True Lies VHS, perhaps.
Yeah. I'm thinking my visual right now is like a junkyard of just VHSs of True Lies. In the same way I watched a documentary one time and they tried to bury the ET video game by dumping them all.
Yeah, like
In a
I
dump.
feel like someone's gonna buy James Cameron's house one day, and they're gonna be like, we want to put a pool out back, and then as they excavate for the pool, the contractor's gonna be like, we found something, and it's gonna be like thousands of copies of True Lies being buried under the ground.
That's fun. That's fun.
That's fun.
If True Lies was like more topical, I'd pitch that to like SNL right now. I'd
Yeah.
be like, can we get that sketch?
Well, and that was the second thought that I had as I was watching True Lies last night. Okay, minus you. So I had to subtract one. I was like, I wonder how many people in the world are watching True Lies right now. And I'm like,
Truly no one.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, let me subtract Chanel. That's -1. I was like, I feel like I'm at 0 then because
There's not another soul.
there's not another person watching True Lies.
I think I'm going to tweet that and be like, who has seen True Lies in the last week? I want to know.
Be honest.
Don't you fucking dare
Don't
lie.
lie. Don't lie.
Don't lie to me. I mean, True Lies. I'm like, do we want to read the summary first? Or do we want to be like...
I think what you should do is let's read the summary just because I think
Free
most
us
people
up.
probably haven't seen the movie, honestly.
Okay.
And then we can talk about some general overtures.
Overtures. Okay. True Lies, 1994.
I had to edit the summary to take out language. Anyway, go.
Oh my God, it's a big job.
Yeah, I had to. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Just remember, take a deep breath and just read it with confidence.
Secretly a spy, but thought by his family to be a doll salesman, Harry Tasker, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is tracking down nuclear missiles in the possession of a terrorist group. Harry's mission is complicated when he realizes his neglected wife, Helen, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, is contemplating an affair with Simon, Bill Paxton, a used car salesman who claims he's a spy.
He's my favorite character.
He's the best character. When Harry and Helen are kidnapped by a terrorist group, the secret agent must save the world and patch up his marriage, quite literally at the same time.
Yeah, they are tasks that run parallel.
They somehow get really tangled up in each other.
Tangled up is true.
Yeah. So, okay, before we like jump in for moments and like take you guys through this movie, I felt very strongly that I had to say the only way I can watch this movie and the only way I was comfortable to experience this movie is to just be like, these are not real people and these are actors.
It's not a documentary.
Not a documentary. And if you can just like view each and every moment like that Jamie Lee Curtis has as just Jamie Lee Curtis acting, fun time. If you for any second of this movie think she's actually married to this man and is like being put through these tasks, let's just say, it's upsetting. It's just
these marriage tests.
Literally tests.
Yeah.
It's the Hunger Games.
Well,
And yeah, so that's the only way I was comfortable to frame this movie.
Well, I think what you're getting at is important because what I think the movie tried to do was I think they tried to employ these gross, if you will, caricatures of women and men even.
Yeah,
and
the alpha male thing.
Alpha male and
action star.
And people from the Middle East. And the problem, what happens in the movie is that the caricature really only sticks to female characters and non-white people. Arnold Schwarzenegger comes across looking like a king. So
yes, he looks phenomenal.
If everybody was taken down, not like that would be a lot better, but
yeah.
It really just looks like the movie is taking a really hard look at women and non-Americans. And that is hard.
Played by probably Americans, by the way, which makes it even grosser.
So the movie has aged like milk, but
I wanted to say this movie has a shelf life, and I gave it like a few years.
It's spoiled.
I gave it like 94 to like the 2000, 2001. Yeah. I don't even think at the time in 94 there was like this unanimous support for this messaging.
No,
which makes me feel better.
It's really, like the movie on its surface level is inherently problematic, and there's no way to get around that.
Nope.
Now, I think like Chanel was just saying though, there is a way to watch the movie where you can watch it from a performance level and really enjoy the way that Jamie Lee Curtis navigates the role and actually makes it quite funny.
Yes.
In the same way that the people from, as they use the language, like they don't say generic, but they basically are playing like generic terrorists. They have some really funny moments in the movie, but what the movie isn't going to do is they aren't going to tie them to a geopolitical faction and give you information as to why they're doing what they're doing. The movie's not interested in that. So in that sense, it's a problem.
It's the most general of generalizations.
Absolutely. So... And if you watch the movie, like
I feel better.
Yeah, I think if you watch the movie, you will that will jump off the screen at you. So this is we're not digging deep. We're looking at the grass on the surface.
Oh my God, it's as clear as day. Yeah, it's right there in front of your face. I feel much better having aired that. Yeah. And there is a way to watch this in which you just kind of sit back and just try to like look at these two uber movie stars.
Yeah. It is a showcase for the movie stars, and what I feel like the movie is trying to do new things. I really think that it was really trying to blend comedy. It doesn't always work.
It was trying to be funny.
It was trying to be funny, and it is worth at least viewing it to see what the movie is trying to do.
I would go to YouTube and type in Jamie Lee Curtis striptease, and that's it, and watch that scene only.
That is a good scene. It's
the best scene.
It's funnier in context, but
yeah. And
anyway.
And it's like that's another scene, like I said, where you can't ever for 1 second buy into the reality, because if you do, it's so upsetting.
Yeah, I think
it's a real problem.
You should watch it almost as if it's a cartoon or it's a dream, because
sure, okay,
it's not real. And if you think this is real,
we have bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
We have a bigger problem.
Bigger problems. Anyway,
okay.
I think that keep that in mind as we go through the rest of the movie, because
file that away, please.
That criticism, if you will apply to every scene.
Yes.
So we can't. So if we discuss a scene and you think that feels like that topic feels like it's not great towards women, just rewind and then listen to this again back. And then just apply it to that scene, because this applies to every scene in the movie.
This is a copy paste scenario, so please get on board. Like we beg of you. Yeah. And if you skipped our intro, you need to go back.
You need to go back now. Okay. So the movie. Let's start with the title. The movie is titled True Lies, which
it
reminded. What was another movie that we did? Oh shoot!
Contradictory. I wrote a title.
Go ahead.
I just wrote a title like this as real star vehicle fodder. So I agree with you that I think it is reminiscent of something we've done.
You know what I think it is?
Is it Night and Day?
It reminds me of Night and Day because Night and Day is something you can read on its surface and you go, I understand that. But then when you watch the movie, you go, why? Same thing with True Lies. I'm like, oh, I know what those two words mean individually.
Mm-hmm. Put them together. I maybe could write out a one sentence. But then when I watch the movie, I don't know. It's like Mona Lisa smile too. It's like I know what each word means. Confusing. I'm like, okay, lies that happen to be true.
True
lies.
I mean, what I was thinking is that like
truly these are lies.
A lie. You don't tell lies that are truthful. That's just the truth, right?
Yeah.
Carry the one. I don't.
So it's like it's an oxymoronic title. We can say that. Right? Oxymoronic. You're the English major. Is that a thing?
I don't know.
It doesn't make much sense.
It doesn't make much sense.
I think this is another way that I want to say the 90s and 2000s, but it probably still happens today, where they're just trying to pull a fast one on you. They're just trying to be like, don't read into this.
Yeah.
And like Arnold is like everyone is, a lot of people are lying in this. There's a lot of lies. We find out pretty quickly within like the opening like the opening action sequence, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a liar. He's lying to his darling wife.
Right. Well, the movie opens and Arnold, there's a fancy party in Switzerland, chic, at a beautiful kind of
So
chateau. Chic. And the fancy guests are piling in, and then we see that Arnold is going through the moat, and he's cutting through the gate
in a body of water,
freezing water
that he has to break through the ice.
Yeah,
he has to Kill Bill his way out of it.
He's wearing a really funny like scuba suit helmet that has like a million
God.
1 gizmos and gadgets on it, and. Yeah. He emerges, he takes his wetsuit off, and not a drop of water has gotten onto his beautiful tuxedo, and he enters the party to do I don't know what.
Speak some French, critique the food.
You know what's
tango.
Funny? I don't know if your version of True Lies had this, but at one point Arnold goes through the party and he's a party of one, but he talks to everybody in their native language.
In their native tongue. Yes, he does.
And okay, when he got to these, he speaks Arabic at one point to two gentlemen. And then on my copy of True Lies, it didn't subtitle what he said. It just subtitled and said, speaks perfect Arabic.
Wait, that was mine too.
But like when he speaks when he speaks French, it subtitles what he said in French.
I know. I hope to God that wasn't the theatrical release.
Oh my God, I was dying. Come on,
Jim Cameron. Like, please tell me you translated the Arabic too.
Please tell me.
Please tell me.
I did think about this first scene was kind of inspiring because to go to a party, and I know he's there for work. He's not there for play. But to go to a party alone is
powerful.
Is hard. It's hard to socialize, and I think he does a good job.
He does an excellent job
of small talk. I thought there's something to be learned here. The way he kind of breezes through the party. I would love to be able to do that.
The mark of a true movie star. He's charismatic. He's funny. He's charming. He's tall. He's huge. Great skin.
He looks good. He looks great, I think.
Tangos. Yeah, worth mentioning that, like, this is... We kind of try to disregard the men on this pod, but this is an Arnold Schwarzenegger vehicle as well.
It is.
In addition to a Jamie Lee Curtis vehicle.
I would say that what I enjoyed about Arnold in this movie is that I really came for Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, I came for her.
I really enjoyed what Arnold did with the material.
I know, and that makes me hate the creators of this shit. Because like we said, nothing sticks to him. He just looks perfect and everything.
Exactly.
Because what I think problematic.
What I think they thought they were doing is they are trying to like send up these tropes of like male action stars.
Yeah.
But like it doesn't work because Arnold comes across like looking really like suave and in control. Like he's never klutzy
we
or
might have
misspeaks.
Needed a goof. We might need a goof on it.
Because he glides into the party and cozies up to that lady, the art dealer.
Yeah, his favorite period of artwork. He can speak on everything.
And I'm going to reveal something about myself, but when I saw this woman, I don't even know her name. I was like, Juno, whatever. I was like, oh my God, she's from Celebrity Apprentice. She was on Celebrity Apprentice.
Wait, there's a "you're fired" at the end of this. Do you remember that?
No. Who?
He sends like one of the bad guys away on like a missile or something, and he's like, "You're fired."
Oh, I love that scene.
And he
that was so
send him
cool.
Away. This movie opens on an action sequence. It's very clearly, we think, trying to parody like that action movie thing. So the sequence is truly ridiculous. Like he breaks up out of the ice. It ends in a chase through the forest with gunfire and like they're skiing. There's people on skis.
Yeah, he's at this party, and to be honest, I don't know why he's at the party except to meet this woman who he finds out sells Persian art. That's what she says. And to which Arnold replies, "I adore the 6th century."
Yes. I adore it.
But I don't remember what else happens at the party because then at a certain point he has to leave.
It seems like what they wanted you to gather is somehow someone gets on their case They're
Okay.
he's like found out.
Right. Those other men are start to like.
Those other men come in for him, and that's when he leaves the party through like the snowy ski slopes. And it's a chase. It's a long, this is just like a prolonged chase.
I enjoyed this chase because Arnold, okay, first of all, I'm sure PETA had some problems with the movie, but Arnold grabs two dogs that are chasing him and gives them a little kiss.
Yeah.
and then he runs away, and then he's chased by people on snowmobiles, people on skis, and as he's leaving the party, he kills, I want to say, 30 people.
Oh my God, the body count? Yeah. Astronomical in the first few minutes.
Kills at least 30 people as he's escaping this party to get into a van with Tom Arnold.
With Tom Arnold. Yeah. Fun fact about me, I hate action sequences. I can't stand them. I just want to cut to the end because we know
he's going to survive.
So that's why I just like had a real problem with a bunch of this. I mean, the problem that we mentioned in the opening, yes, separate problem, hate action sequences. So I do just want to cut to the chase. But if anything can be said, they are parodying the ridiculousness of such a thing.
Yeah, it felt like it was making fun of like a James Bond type situation.
Yes.
But I do love seeing people, and I mean, how often do I see this? I love thinking about people on skis with guns because it reminds me of that Olympic event where they have to like ski from station to station and then take out a gun and shoot a target.
The little target practice.
Yeah. So it was just, it was kind of funny to see.
It was wild. I was like, I might have had a panic attack. I was like, this is sensory overload. There's just like snow, lights, skis, gun. I'm just like, oh my God.
And if you're watching at home, like the volume in this movie is out of control. It gets so loud. I was constantly having to adjust the volume.
I was
because
tapping that up, down.
It was, I couldn't hear them when they were talking. And then when the action started, it was like, I felt like my apartment was going to like blow up because it was so loud.
So my copy had a 10-second back arrow. I really could have used a 10-second forward arrow. Didn't have.
Didn't have
because that would have really helped me just like kind of skip over a lot of the pumped in explosions. There's just like a lot going on. But love the tropiness of something like this. I prefer it done more explicitly, like that Melissa McCarthy movie Spy. When it kind of opens and she's a spy, whatever. But I kind of love the tropiness of he's a regular guy with a family. Yeah. Pulls up.
He pulls up. He gets his regular passport.
Yeah.
And he goes...
Snow globe for his daughter from Switzerland.
She was so sour. And she needed... When he gave her that snow globe, which I thought was a really nice snow globe.
Oh my God.
Do you remember what her response was?
She was like, this is stupid or something. Or she's like, I already have one.
No, she goes,
I forget.
I've never had one of these. And then as soon as Arnold leaves the room, she throws it in the trash.
Yeah. Well, you know, I put the fault on Arnold in this scene. Like, your 15-year-old daughter doesn't want a snow globe, sweetie man. She wants $20.
Give her some Swiss chocolate. Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
She takes that.
Like, they're painting him as a bad dad, and he's quite actually a bad dad. He gives his 15-year-old a snow globe. It's like never there. His like poor wife, Jamie Lee Curtis, who they're really painting as very normal. She's normal. She's normal,
but they're also painting her to be oblivious because like, okay, one of the only reasons that this whole charade can work is that when Arnold comes home from these missions, he doesn't have a scratch. He doesn't have a cut. He doesn't have any dirt, no blood. Like, I understand that, but they're also painting her, to Jamie Lee Curtis, to be blissfully unaware. To
the point where I don't know how you play this. Like, good for her.
If she had just met him, maybe, but they've been together for 15 years, and then we find out that he's been a spy for 17 years. So, you know, they're telling us that he has been a spy since they met. It's kind of like, girl, you didn't know... If you know, and there's never a scene where Jamie Lee Curtis is like, I knew it. She's always.
That's what I was like.
She was always like,
she's dead shocked.
Like, what?
You're a boring salesman. Sometimes when I want to go to sleep at night, I make him tell me about The Office. Like that's a literal line of dialogue she says.
Right. He's just a salesman.
He's just a salesman.
He acts like he's curing cancer.
Yeah, I feel like I wanted more agency for Jamie Lee Curtis quicker, but she does get...
She does get... I mean,
an hour
and
15 in, she starts to get some agency. Maybe an hour. But
it takes a long time for us to really spend time with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Really long time. But like, okay, we're in parody land, so I'm just gonna lay off. Like, she's
you know what I was
oblivious.
Thinking? It would have been funnier for the daughter and a better takedown of Arnold if, when he gave her the snow globe, she opened up her closet and there was like 1,000 snow globes in there, and she just like put it on the shelf. Because then, because what this scene does with the daughter is it shifts all the blame off of Arnold
and puts it onto her, makes her look like a sourpuss, like you said. Right. She's sour, and that's what they wanted.
It would have been really funny if she had like 1,000 snow globes and she was like, thanks.
That's what this movie does time and time and time again. It's like, it's not Arnold's fault for lying. It's actually Jamie Lee Curtis's fault for lying. And it's like...
And then the next scene, we see the daughter like further, reiterate, not beating a horse. I mean, horses are popular in the movie, but like she steals money.
Horse movie.
She steals money and it doesn't come back. Like they're just reiterating that she's the problem, not Arnold.
I had such a problem with it. He is like...
She never uses the $20 to buy something that plays a role. We never see the guy on the motorcycle. She never rides a motorcycle. It's just to be like...
Yeah.
She is ungrateful.
Do you want to know what it is? It's so gross best friend can talk about her in the next scene, which I'm just like, ew. Tom Arnold.
Oh, yeah.
And Schwartzy are leaving the house, and he's like, she's probably like doing whatever with her boyfriend. And I'm like, this is disgusting. Stop
they make
her.
some really off-color comments about what she's going to do with the $20.
It's like beyond fucked up. And like, I love that you've articulated for me and the viewers at home.
No problem.
They're just like trying to just make nothing stick to... Yeah, Harry, who I wrote as Larry because I heard Larry in the opening, but his name is Harry.
Everybody separates to go their way for the day, and then Arnold goes to work, and we find out that he works at, I had to write this down, the Omega Sector, which is the last line of defense.
The last line of defense. And they just like ask no more questions, please.
I was like, okay,
what?
I got it. And... okay, so he goes to this place, which I guess what they're implying is that it's a government organization. Okay. And the secretary...
beyond the CIA, FBI, right? Like
and
the last line.
The last line of defense. You've never heard of it. And then they go in to their meeting, and this was a very small moment, but it was clearly included for a moment or for a reason. Arnold and Tom Arnold... Okay.
Arnold and Tom Arnold.
They go to their meeting. There's other men there, and there's a female agent sitting there. And then before the meeting starts, the head guy goes, I'll just call her Betty. Betty, can you leave? We're going to get started. Do you remember that? And he makes the female lady leave the meeting.
I think, you know how the brain erases trauma?
Oh, okay.
My brain really paper shredded a bunch of these moments.
I can see your neurons lighting up on camera. It's like beep, 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 beep.
It's the first time I've heard that.
I literally like...
I have notes, but nothing about that.
Yeah, it was kind of like...
I was distracted, I'll be honest. I'll be like, I want everyone to know that like I had such a hard time like keeping focus on this one that I really was like clicking off the tab, checking my messages. It was like kind of rude.
I couldn't take my eyes off of it, so I'm here to help.
Pick up my slack, please.
What was surprising about the Omega Sector, which is the last line of defense, is that there were a lot of people working there. I would have thought it would have been 10 people. There were many, 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 many people working at Omega Sector. Mm-hmm. More than I would have liked.
Populated office.
And some of them didn't seem very qualified. It didn't seem very secretive.
Didn't seem very secretive. It's like, this is like a big office.
And to get into the Omega Sector, to the last line of defense, you had to go by the secretary who kept a gun under the table.
when they're walking through the X-ray and she sees like all the guns on their person. I was like, this is scary.
This is scary.
in much like we've talked about in Miss Congeniality, and then again in Jingle All the, like I mentioned about Jingle All the Way, it's like I kind of can't really get on board with like the amount of explosives in this.
The movie is very like guns or toys. It's still that area of
willy
life.
nilly. Yeah,
Guns are toys. Bombs
might as well
are
be a
toys.
water gun.
Yeah, like
yeah, dangerous packages, parcels get tossed around, no problem. No one's suspicious of them at all.
And as we'll like see later in the movie, like when you treat guns as toys, sometimes the results work out even better, as Jamie Lee Curtis finds out.
I know the exact scene you're talking about.
I laughed
which
at that
was
Shocking.
Shocking.
Anyway,
oh God.
they're at Omega Sector, the last line of defense, and they get their next mission where they're gonna go to a Marriott.
Yeah, they're going to the hotel, the local hotel.
Sponsored by Marriott.
This felt like product placement to the nth degree, let me tell you.
You don't think?
Did great things for Marriott. That branding couldn't have been more front and center.
All I want to do is stay at a Marriott right now.
Me too. I want to jump ship right now.
I want to get me
out of here and into a Marriott. Don't care where. Down the
Don't
street.
care where. It doesn't matter. They're all so luxurious.
They're actually nice. I love Marriotts.
Marriotts are nice. I like a Marriott. I love an Embassy Suites, and I love a Hyatt.
What's the cookie? Doubletree. They give you cookies. They're really
the
good.
problem with Doubletree is that it just. Well, never mind. They could be a sponsor one day.
Let's not get into it here.
Let's not get into it.
We've said
We've
nothing.
said too much. And yet
Zip it
nothing
up.
at all. Okay. Zip it up.
Zip it up. So yeah,
Okay.
like, they have some intel that some more shit's going down. I don't know what it is. It's like some money traded hands somewhere.
Money's being traded hands through, they believe, this art dealer later.
The woman. Yeah.
So they arrange for Arnold to go meet up with her and tour some art. They do. They flirt. It's like neither here nor there. There's like zero chemistry from my point of view. And then they leave and they find out they're being like trailed by these guys.
I think the other purpose of that is him being like, oh my God, I want to call him Travolta. Is Arnold being like, don't worry, honey, I will make it, because it's his birthday or something that night.
Right.
So.
Right, because he meets up with her and then the mission is over and they're on the way home. And he's like, I'll be home by 8 for my birthday party. But as they're heading home, they realize they're being
That's the
followed.
horse chase.
Yeah, this is the same scene.
Yeah.
So
he's in a bathroom.
Yeah, he leaves.
And then they find him.
Yeah, and there's a shootout in the bathroom. There's a senior citizen in one of the stalls who just wants to go to the bathroom in peace.
Yeah. And no one thinks about those kinds of people in these kinds of movies.
No.
So
but he's
glad to see the representation.
He survives, and Arnold makes quick work of 2 of the people, but one of them escapes.
Yeah. And it's just like another chase through inappropriate locales with inappropriate means of transportation in inappropriate. It's all inappropriate.
The villain has a motorcycle and Arnold Schwarzenegger has a horse, and they are chasing through the streets.
A police horse.
When they get to they end up bringing the chase to the Marriott, okay? And this, the biggest light bulb went off in my mind, because for the first time in my life, I understood the scene, and this was my favorite movie growing up, in The Naked Gun with Leslie Nielsen, where he rides a horse into a hotel and takes it up the elevator. And
so this was an homage.
No, I mean the other way around. Like Naked Gun was parodying this.
Oh, Naked Gun came after 94. Okay.
Well, there's a few different ones, but they were making fun of. I thought it was
early.
There's not. I don't know if it's the first one, but there's a few different ones. But
okay, making fun of this.
And
I felt like Night and Day was taking little jabs at this movie.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, what the movie tries to do is they try to do it over the top, but they don't treat the horse scene with a sense of humor. Like,
no, it's dead serious.
It's so funny that the horse is in an elevator with
an elderly couple.
Yeah. And there is a moment where the horse has to turn around and they're like,
they're like sandwiched against the glass.
But it's not played for, uh,
It's not
as
played
big
for
of a laugh
lulz because
as you
the
think
other
it
guy
is.
is in the other elevator and they've both got a bullseye on each other with the guns.
Yeah, they're both waiting to
It's
shoot.
scary. It's really
And
scary.
in this Marriott, you can take the elevator to the roof. And they get off on the roof, and the other guy drives his motorcycle all the way across to another building, pretty far, actually.
Really far.
Pretty impressive. And then
He evil
Arnold,
Knievel's it into the pool. A lot of water work in this movie.
yeah, I thought it was a really great landing. I thought that was really cool. And then
was
I was like,
nice.
smart.
Yeah.
And then luckily, Arnold's horse is like,
Yeah.
no.
There's a moment in time where you're like, is he going to push the horse to fly out? He's going to do it. And then
He really tried.
That the fact that the horse is like held to the no and stops, I'm like, oh, thank God. I just loved any second. Arnold got a little deflated in this movie. Like he needed, anytime another character had some agency over Arnold's behavior, I was so in. So the horse is like held to the no. I'm like, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. The horse is really the only character in the movie that ever says no to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Dead on. You are 100% correct. That's not even we're not even joking.
That's not
guys.
a joke.
It's not a joke.
That's just numbers.
Yeah. Come up with another character who says no. We'll listen. We'll apologize next week. You can't.
I can't. Anyway, the horse also throws him off the roof, and
he's dangling there.
Yeah. Next to the Marriott sign, of course.
Yep. Yeah, really nice.
But the horse saves his life, which
Horse
is
saves
nice.
his life. And then he insults the horse when all said and done. He's like, really? You're a policeman, you idiot? You couldn't do that?
Yeah, we never see Arnold take the horse to get some carrots or an apple as a reward.
No candy, no sugar cane.
No sugar cane.
No sugar cane for him. Just
no blue ribbon to put on his saddle.
Yeah.
But
and I was just like, good for you, horse. Thank God somebody stopped this man.
Arnold, again, goes home after this. He had to,
This is the best. This
he
is
had
my
to crawl
favorite.
on glass and all this kind of stuff. Not a scratch, nothing, but he finally makes it home.
My favorite trope ever is
What?
he walks into the tableau of the party,
Oh, yeah.
candles in the cake, streamers, decor, and Jamie's just like waiting for him.
Yeah.
It's my favorite trope ever because my mom would have went to bed. She was like, see you upstairs.
Yeah, she really committed to this because
She's like, I'm going to sit here until he gets back. And she
Right.
forgives him right quick. Immediately.
Yeah, I think to your point, it would have been more powerful. Like if she really wanted to stick it to him, she would have gone to bed and just been like,
Yeah.
and wrote an inappropriate message in the cake.
Yeah.
Like some bad words.
Or like a note. Like he comes in, he looks at the party. We see his face sink because, oh no, look what I've missed. My wife set this up for me and I've missed it. His face can sink. It can glance down to a note, or maybe there doesn't even need to be a note. But just to have her sitting there so she can forgive him again
Yeah.
is like this another free pass for this man who's a bad husband, father,
Especially
and
because
spy.
the next day, the slate is wiped clear. Like it's
Not- like
it's
it never
not like
happened.
this drama carries over.
Nope, doesn't. Yeah, so I mean, at this point, is this kind of when he goes to make it up to her and he hears her on the phone with Simon, this
Right.
like mystery man. And for the first time in the movie, you're like, oh, she's lying too. Thank God. Because
Thank God.
he was getting away with like too many lies for me.
Right. We overhear the conversation and it sounds like she's having an affair with this guy, Simon.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about this scene, though, is that he hears her leave to go meet up with Simon.
Yeah.
But he doesn't follow
Doesn't
her
follow
in that
then.
moment, which is interesting.
Yeah. Later, after he's tied up all of the resources of Omega,
Yeah.
then he follows her.
Because it would have just seemed like it would have made more sense just to follow her
Yeah.
in the moment.
I think it's another jab at women because that night at dinner, he wanted to be like, where were you today at lunch? I stopped by. And
Yeah,
then
he's like testing her.
he's testing her and he wants her to lie, which we know
Yeah.
she's going to.
But it
and
also-
it just makes her look bad and him look like golden boy.
I think what it also does is it also communicates like, he can't be bothered by this. Like, he's not angry enough in this moment to go follow her because she's his wife.
No.
It's weird because
it is really weird because they're trying to make it like he's real upset. He's like, I can't believe she would lie to me.
Right.
And Tom Arnold is not making it any better as the best friend. He's like, yeah,
Right.
my third wife left me. Like, he's just, digging the knife in deeper. I just feel like he didn't follow her in that moment. So he had an opportunity in the screenplay, James Cameron, to show that Jamie Lee Curtis is a fucking liar. Just like rude.
Yeah. Now, I will say, though, that we are treated to the first real scene with Jamie Lee Curtis at a restaurant where we find out that she's meeting this guy, Simon, who is pretending to be a spy.
That was
as a way,
real confusing.
Really confused. I'm saying this now, but this is not communicated in the moment.
No,
like,
in the moment, I'm like, wait, he did? That was him?
they introduce him as a spy. And what I think they're setting you up to try to think is that he is some sort of competing spy who is trying to infiltrate the family to get over, to get close to
I think
Arnold.
at one point Arnold Schwarzenegger's character says, they're using her to get to me, which would make sense for the narrative of a spy film. That makes total sense to me.
That is a normal plot.
Normal thing that happens in spy movies is that.
It was really funny, though, watching Jamie Lee Curtis acting super nervous in the restaurant,
yeah,
where she was like, I did that thing you taught me, looking behind my back when I walk.
I think if anything, this movie is like reiterating for me, which I think we've talked about privately, but not on the pod. Jamie Lee Curtis is a comedian. And we didn't get that in Halloween. Duh. It's not the genre for it. But she is comedy for me.
She's comedy, but it's the same. I would say it's a very specific type of comedy that she does because her performance in this movie is actually kind of similar to what we get in Freaky Friday, where it's kind of just like this kind of silly, nervous energy comedy that she does actually really well.
Yeah, I think she's betrayed by her like good looks and bang and bod, and she said it before. This is not new information. She said I was kind of pigeonholed into these like roles for my body because she's like looks amazing, but I think she's funny, girl. Like her voice is comedic to me. It's like
she does have a funny sounding voice.
Yeah, her voice is funny.
It's funny, and I think that like the comedy in this movie, number one, falls squarely on her shoulders
because tiny little shoulders.
The comedy that Tom Arnold is doing is inappropriate. So
it's like Dangerfield or something, but it's not fun.
So, and I think she does. She really hits it out of the park, and this scene is legitimately funny. Watching her pretend, because this guy Simon is implying that Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be like a co-spy with him. Yeah. So like seeing her pretend to be a spy is a lull.
Yeah, and you kind of get the sense that she's like kind of kept at home. Her life's kind of boring. Her husband's not there. She's looking to spice it up. And this is like her opportunity to spice it up.
She's going to spice it up. And after the lunch, and Simon, I should say, was a real treat.
A real treat. Bill Paxton.
He was really funny, I thought.
Clappy claps for Bill. Loved.
I thought like the twist. So when Arnold then stalks Simon after and interrogates him, so to speak, over like a really high stress test drive.
Yeah.
And we find out that Simon is just a fraud and he just pretends to be a spy to get with like lonely women.
Yeah. Now I will say it's still kind of confusing because the movie is betraying your trust at this point. So you're almost like, wait, is that true? Because like it went from telling you he's a spy to get to Arnold, which made total sense, to actually just kidding, he's a used car salesman. And at that point in time, I'm going, okay, this is going to be a just kidding as well. Because
where's the second misdirect?
Yeah, it felt like a misdirect. So I was like, oh, he's going to be a spy posing as a used car salesman. And it's going to just derail Arnold for like a minute, but then we're going to get back on track. No, he's an actual, just a used car salesman. That's it.
Right. But I agree with you that, because after this scene where we find out that he's a used car salesman, and then in the next scene where they do a sting operation and pull apart his trailer home, to arrest him and Jamie Lee Curtis, you don't really ever see him again, literally until the last scene. But I was constantly waiting for Simon to come back in a way that would suggest that he is more than just a used car salesman.
Yeah, that was really confusing. It was weird. After this movie, I was like trying to think of ways we could cut it. You know, just trim it by 20, like a tight 25 minute. And I was like, okay, the Simon thing, as much as I love Bill Paxton, I was thinking the Simon thing could go. But then I realized that was their sole and only excuse to have Jamie Lee get caught up in Schwarzenegger's world. Like
Right.
that was their excuse to get them, you know, together. And it was kooky. And I don't know. I just don't know.
Well, what is strange about the Simon section is that the movie begins, we're dealing with this kind of generic terrorist network. Then that pauses for 40 minutes. We don't see or hear about them at all.
That's a VHS stop, like a full stop.
Exactly.
On that.
Then we have 40 minutes of Simon drama.
Yes.
Pause. And then it's back to the terrorist organization. And during those different sections, there is no bleeding into each other. Like we are firmly in the Simon section and it doesn't get resolved until, like you just said, they kidnap him and Jamie Lee Curtis and they do their interrogation.
This is the point where it gets disturbing, where you really have to start like just suspending everything that you ever have known about a kidnapping, because he kidnaps his wife.
Right.
Disguises his own voice.
Interrogates her
behind double-paned a one-way mirror. Disguises his voice.
Two-way mirror.
Yeah, well, I don't know what I was trying to say there.
It's very. I don't know if you're watching the impeachment Monica Lewinsky show, but it's like
on it.
It's like they Monica Lewinsky'd her. They
put her in a cage and they were like, "You're bad.
You're bad, and you're going to go to jail unless you do exactly what I say."
Yeah, it was so disturbing. I had to just be like, this isn't real. These are actors. We're chilling. But like I wrote in my notes, could you kidnap your wife in a more traumatic way?
So
traumatic.
And not that it would have made it any better at all. It wouldn't. But if they had at least like pretended like, oh, we're at the police, like we're at the local precinct, like she's in an ambiguous cell.
Exactly. She could have felt more like there were people around. Maybe that would have helped her out if we just went to the police or something.
But it was in an unmarked cell with
a holding room
with people who are speaking to her that she has no idea. They don't even announce the Omega Division, the last line of defense. They just say, we are...
Nothing like we're on your team even. Just like, you're bad. We're going to nail you.
But what I did appreciate about the writing of this scene is that they do at least allow Jamie Lee Curtis to be like, why are you guys asking me these questions?
The only
that did make
thing
me laugh
that
a little.
made sense in that scene is her being like, what?
She's like, is that relevant?
It's not. And then we did get a little bit of backstory on Simon posing as the spy. And we come to find out she got caught up in the Simon business because he gave her a suitcase and was like, guard this. And was that his way of picking her up?
I think so. It seems like he has this down pat. He kind of, and then what we realize, or it's a really brief callback, but when she is at Simon's mobile home, she sees 2 tickets to Paris. And then when she had opened the briefcase, in the briefcase were the same 2 tickets to Paris. So it's like sort of reminding us that he sort of has these props that he just uses to...
I'm like dead stupid.
It was blinking. It was totally blinking. You miss it.
Well, in the trailer park, when she reveals the Paris tickets, I was like, oh, so then he is a spy. I was like, he's not a used car salesman. To me, I was like, oh, he is a spy, and he actually is. No, I think no.
They want you to think that then, because we don't see the suitcase until later. But I think that is when we're supposed, because I think that is supposed to like give us like that signal that like, no, he actually is just a phony. A fake. Yeah, it's very suspend your belief.
Because we've already had the used car salesman scene with Arnold Schwarzenegger by the time we see them in the trailer home with the tickets.
It's a lot.
It's so confusing. It's so convoluted. All I want to say about the briefcase thing that she gets caught up in is another point in time where a suspicious package should send up your alarm bells. You should not go along with this. She should have ditched that suitcase immediately. But babe... But Babe, who is looking for some action and some spice in her life, takes it to the office.
Yeah.
To an enclosed cubicle with thousands of people on her floor.
Yeah.
And opens it up.
I'm going to open this.
Opens up the prop suitcase. And thank God there was no IED in it.
No, thank God.
In a movie of this caliber and of this time,
you would have thought there would be.
You would have thought that there was going to be a bomb.
There should have been.
If we're playing by the rules.
But Jamie Lee Curtis's punishment to get out of this cell is that
insane.
She's either going to go to federal prison for the rest of her life, or she has to participate in the next mission.
And I know, and with no details. They tell her nothing. Detail. This was funny though.
It did make me laugh because she sort of was like, I wonder which one I'm going to pick.
I saw that as like the script trying to like get you on her side again. Yeah. I wasn't buying it. I was like, James Cameron, that's not enough for me. They were like, you're going to go to federal prison unless you help us out. You will pose as this woman and you will have a secret mission. And I wanted her to be like, what the fuck is the mission? But instead she goes, let me think. Yeah, I'll do it. and it was like a real funny.
And then she's like, and they're like, we'll contact you at your code name. And she goes, Natasha? And they go, Doris.
And then the only other thing about that scene, which I think we might have missed, is she does start slamming the chair in the glass. Thank God. She
does, and what I appreciate about that scene is that she comes like dangerously close to smashing the glass all the way through. I
wanted her to go all the way through.
And I will say that I think that her acting in this scene was pretty good because she's by herself. I think it would have been a hard scene to film because like you're not playing off of anyone.
Yeah,
and I think she does. She does do a good job of what I think the movie wants to do, which is that kind of flow between drama and comedy in a way that I think she can communicate that the movie really struggles to do, because in that scene I both laughed and I was terrified.
I was absolutely horrified and terrified, and Jamie Lee is holding it together for her director. Okay, she's doing what is being asked of her, and I have no problems with hers and Arnold's performance in this because they are doing what is asked of them from their director. That's what they've been paid to do. And she's taking it seriously, but it's disturbing. And I just wrote at this point, hate it when men tell women to calm down when they've got them in a glass cage. She's like freaking out. And they're like, calm down.
If only she could relax. If only she could relax.
Relax, babe. And I wrote Doris, ? And what the fuck is Simon's deal?
Simon goes to the bathroom on himself as he...
multiple points in this movie.
Multiple points as he has to come clean that he's just a fraud.
He's a liar.
And they let him go.
I couldn't believe this scene. When that scene wrapped up, I went, oh my God, they were just fucking with her. I was so shocked. And then I wrote, at this point in time, they're trying to make Jamie Lee Curtis's characters true lies.
Yeah.
Worse than Arnold's lies. They're taking pains to be like, look at this lying bitch, instead of being like, look at him.
Yeah, because what we've glossed over because it's so boring, but I guess it's supposed to be the foil to this, is that like Arnold is also questionably flirting with the art dealer lady.
Juno, yeah.
But it's never, it does come back towards the end a little bit, but it's never put on the same level as the flirting that's done between Jamie Lee Curtis and Simon. But I think like when the men were writing the script, they were like, oh, look, they're the same. We have one for the men and one for the women. But when it's actually played out, it really just looks like Arnold's doing his job and Jamie Lee Curtis is trying to have an affair.
Yeah. And like if you add the layer of realism in there, like if you do go there with it.
It's a realistic movie.
Okay, it's like you said, a documentary. I'm pretty sure you said that.
This is Planet Earth.
It's if you go there with an extra like layer of realism and you try to like think it through, it doesn't sit well at all. It's like it's just like look at this cheating
his wife
bitch.
To terrorize her, to scare her straight into not cheating. Yeah, and then he's like, then essentially what he hears is like, oh, you want to be scared? I'll scare you.
I'll scare you.
And then he's like, get ready for your next mission.
Yeah, I just wrote, Jamie deserved better.
She deserved.
Wrap it up.
And then we get a little fade cut, and then we're back at the dinner table.
Oh,
literally.
Yeah, okay.
And this scene, again, did make me laugh a little bit because Arnold was like, oh, I guess your night last night was pretty stressful. And she's like shaking, holding the coffee. And she's like, it was pretty funny.
Where was that the whole way through? Like,
Yeah.
just turn up the comedy. I guess it's hard. You really can't laugh at a bunch of these things because, like you said, it ages like milk. So it's just hard. It's hard to make this comedic.
But again, I think you're making an interesting point because they're giving her comedy to do. And since Arnold doesn't have any comedy really to do, it just makes her look goofy as opposed to a co-player in a comedy. If they were both having funny scenes, then it would be like, oh, look at this funny couple. Instead, it looks like, look at this cool spy and his
dumb
inept wife.
She can't even be like a real housewife. Like, she's like not even good at that part either.
No, because luckily she's able to get up from the table because she has her spy call. And she slips out in her fancy dress.
Doris. She's like, yes.
To go back to the Marriott.
Back to the Marriott. Loved the makeover scene that she gives herself.
Did you catch the little plug about the Marriott? Because Tom Arnold was like, the Marriott?
They say it a lot.
How can you? Oh, he goes, the Marriott, why'd you choose there? And Arnold was like, well, I can't afford a suite at the Marriott on my own. I was like, we get it. It's a nice hotel.
We get it. Marriott bought this movie.
It's
a
expensive.
$100 million movie.
It's so expensive to stay at the Marriott.
Gotta remind you. Unless you have timeshare, in which it's great.
It was a nice suite. It had a fireplace.
Very nice.
But she puts on a dress, which is kind of ugly.
So the dress is ugly, but then I love the little makeover she gives herself in the little foyer. She rips off the sleeves.
This was
rips off the bottom.
I loved it. And
this is the best part of the whole movie.
And then what else does she do?
She goes in the vase and she gets the water and she slicks her hair back. I fucking love that. I was like, yes.
It was so funny.
I was like, not only because they want her to pose as a prostitute. She's fucked up. But she was like, I need to look the part.
Yeah.
And she goes for it. She did.
Yeah, I think it's a weird dance, literally, that she's doing because she's being forced to be a prostitute, using the language of the movie, in this scene.
Deeply and uncomfortable, by the way. Deeply not okay with this.
And then they're giving us this scene as she's getting ready in the hallway, which is really funny as she's taking the dirty like vase water to slick back her hair. Because I think they're thinking like, if we put this scene in here, it makes it look like she's in control. Like she's controlling her appearance. And they almost communicate with her body language and her face that she's excited. Like because she kind of does like a 1, 2, and she kind of models in the mirror.
Oh my God. I have such a problem with like framing the comedy around showing up to pose as a prostitute because it could quite actually be life or death. Like she doesn't know who this person is. She doesn't know who this person is. It's a man. She can be overpowered. She can die. Just think about that. The worst things imaginable could be happening to her. And they're framing it like, I'm so excited for my mission. I have such a problem with that. It looks like makes it.
You don't say.
It makes it look like women across space and time are going to, in that exact situation, would be pumped.
Yeah. She goes in.
And I'm like,
he's like, have a glass of champagne. And she does. And then he says, dance for me.
Take your dress off.
And dance. And she does a goofy dance to start, which was pretty funny.
And out of context, which I have seen the striptease before out of context, I was like, phenomenal scene. I was like, phenomenal. It's so great. So funny. Good scene. In the context of the movie, my jaw is on the floor.
Yeah, we were talking before we started, and it's like, if I knew anything about True Lies, the only thing I knew was this scene, because I'd seen it out of context.
Yeah, I saw it out of context and didn't even know it was in this movie. So to come across it organically, I was like, whoa.
It's weird because number one, it's not as funny as it was hyped up to be. Like a lot of people would describe it as like this amazing comedy scene. And it's when she falls as she's dancing.
It's a good pratfall.
It's a good pratfall, I guess.
It doesn't make sense at all for the moment.
No. And then I don't know. I just wanted it to be over. I wanted the scene to be over.
I was like, wrap this up. Also, at some point, does she drop like the camera or the little wire tap or something she's wearing?
She had put okay. Her real mission was not just to do a sexy dance. It was to put a bug on the telephone that would monitor the calls. And she had put it in her shirt, and then as she was dancing, it fell out. So she had to do like a 1-2 to get it. And then
in a different movie, that is funny and it works.
Yeah.
Not this one.
It would have been funny. I mean, it would have been more interesting if
it was too dangerous to be
safer
funny.
For her if her task was just to bug the apartment without being seen. That could have been like a funny, like her sneaking around the walls.
Oh yeah,
like,
don't be seen.
Yeah, but at one point Arnold is like, "All right, I put her through enough," and he's like, and he says, "Lay down on the bed," and then he like goes in to kiss her, and thank God. As soon as he does, Jamie Lee Curtis grabs the telephone and smacks him in the face. Thank God. I was like, if they just make this like a romantic thing, I was like, I can't.
I was gonna turn the movie off and text you that we can't do it. I mean, I'm not kidding. I had nightmares about this last night. I was gonna slam the computer shut and be like, no, because it's not as quick as I would like that she hits him. You said it. She very quickly hits him in the head.
You're right.
With the phone.
It's not.
It's not quick. He's kissing her passionately for a little too long.
Way too long.
And they're lingering on her a little too long. And the movie is going, look, she likes it. Because
they don't show you his face. They just show you her face. And they communicate that she's going from uncomfortable to enjoying it. And then she
likes it is the message they are sending. She's a bored housewife. This was her spicy evening. She's enjoying herself is like the message they're sending. And I, like I said, was about to. I was going to turn off the movie right then and there if she didn't do that.
Keep in mind, though, that at this point her eyes are closed. She still has no idea that this is her husband.
She has no idea. It's just beyond fucked. It's so fucked up. It's a random man she doesn't know who is easily 6'3" and 250.
Yeah.
Right or wrong, on top of her.
And
oh my God.
Thankfully, she eventually grabs the phone and she's about to get out of there as she's repeatedly smacking him over the head with the phone.
Yeah.
Kicking him.
The saving grace of the scene, she whacks him in the head. Thank God.
Punching him. And then before she can leave, Arnold's like, "Helen.
It's me.
And she's like, "What?" She's like, "How are you here?"
And then it switches to comedy, fun times again.
And now we can all relax because
we can all exhale. It's just your husband. And I think that they're like also trying to make like every person who sat for the theater to watch this, they're trying to make everyone feel okay with it by being like, it's just her husband.
Yeah.
What's the big deal?
But what Jamie Lee still doesn't know in this moment, she still thinks that she's there on a mission. She just thinks that her husband is there inadvertently. Maybe he followed her or something. Because no sooner do they reconnect than the terrorist syndicate, who we haven't seen for 40 minutes.
Yeah, a plot comes back into picture, back into focus.
Yeah, they dragged them back down into the document, and they burst into the room and they kidnap them.
Yeah,
to take them to the Florida Keys.
Very quickly.
Which I did like this part did make me laugh because the terrorists separate them and Arnold's like, stop. No, you don't need her.
Leave the prostitute alone.
Yeah.
Literally, I think he called her that.
And she started screaming. She goes, let me handle it. Let me handle it.
I'm the one you want. Because she thinks she's like caught up in something bad.
Yeah, she thinks that she's the actual spy and Arnold is there inadvertently.
Yeah, and Arnold's the stupid like house father.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are some little funny lines. Jamie Lee Curtis is selling it. And you're right. They're in the keys now.
They're in the keys.
And this is kind of just like another bloated action sequence to really propel us to the end.
I mean, I took the least amount of notes during this section because we just go from one action scene to the next. And it's really just about the next 40 minutes of the movie is really just Arnold
explosions,
taking down this crime syndicate.
Yeah.
But it's when they get to the keys, Jamie Lee and Arnold have a little heart to heart as they figure out really what's going on. And all the confusion is wrapped up, and it becomes clear that Arnold is a spy, much to her surprise. She's not actually a spy. She's just there for fun, you know.
What did I write?
But she doesn't seem to. I mean, she gets upset, but she gets more upset.
She gets the trauma of her life yet again. Within 24 hours, not only was she traumatized by being kidnapped, then traumatized in the bedroom with a striptease, then traumatized by being kidnapped again. Another trauma. Everything's on fire, and Arnold's in the water, the flaming water. And I was like, there's no way she doesn't think her husband's dead. She's like, he's dead.
What did make me laugh is when she finally finds out from the terrorist that Arnold is a spy, instead of like asking how long, all this kind of stuff, her first question is, she goes, have you ever killed anyone? And he
goes, yes, they were all bad.
Yeah.
All of them were bad. And in my dumb mind, I'm like laying in bed. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool.
Yeah. So they're there. The terrorists are recording a message. This did make me laugh because one of them
with the battery,
with the VHS. This guy's recording him on a VHS recorder.
He's sweating, and the henchman is sweating.
It has low battery.
He's like making all these demands. He's like, we want this and we want $1 million, and then the camera cuts out.
That was funny. That was funny. I think. I know it's problematic, but it's funny. Replay the 5-minute warning we gave in the beginning. For
the casting is absolutely problematic and ridiculous.
Oh, God.
And especially for how reductive all of the terrorism actually is. It's not tied to anything specific at all.
No, no actual, they're not from a specific area of the world. They're not trying to do anything specific. They're just trying to do something bad. And it's like, that's it. And you should be able to understand that they are bad.
And by that logic, like if this were made today, even you can cast anyone. Then you can truly cast anyone. And then this 1994 flick made a very specific choice to cast non-white people. And
because it's weird. Is that not weird? But what's interesting is that the staging ground for this terrorist organization is the Florida Keys, which I guess didn't really strike me as odd until Jamie Lee Curtis goes, well, that means they won't have to go through customs with the bomb. I was like, oh. And at that point, I was like, well, then it doesn't have to be a terrorist group. It could be anybody.
It could be literally anybody. It's not like we flew to the Middle East.
No. We're never anywhere. It's all domestic.
So it could have been anyone.
But luckily, Jamie Lee Curtis and Arnold Schwarzenegger break free of their captors and they start mowing down the people.
They start to really come up victorious. Is this the point where he gives her the gun?
He gives her some sort of automatic weapon that she drops
it down the stairs.
and it fires.
It goes off. Couldn't have been any more perfect.
She kills everybody
on the way down. And she didn't have to do any of the killing.
Right.
She just drops the gun, and with every step it's going off and just taking down the bad guys.
And again, it's like
bad guys.
Not that I want to watch people make direct contact with bullets with other human beings, but at least if she would have been, had the skills to do this, it would have been different than her accidentally killing all the bad guys at once.
I was like, do you really have to go out of your way to make her look like
a klutz?
Inept again? This reminded me of the night and day scene when Cameron comes. It's like the middle of the movie / sort of towards the beginning, and she comes out from behind. He goes on 3, and then she goes on 1, and she gets out, and she's like, and she just screams as all the bullets are coming at her. And then she comes back behind the crates, and he's like, do you want to go on 3? And she's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I panicked.
It's the same thing. It's
the same thing. It's like, look at this suave guy who knows what's up, and look at his this dummy broad he brought with him. Who got,
literally.
And it's all in good. They're trying to make it in good fun because it just looks like she got accidentally tangled in. Like this wasn't her choice. She's not a spy.
Yeah,
She's
we're forgetting that she was coerced into, into doing
like
this.
Jamie Lee Curtis's character shouldn't be there at all. So we can't judge her as a spy. You got to judge her as,
No, she's had no training. She's had
a law clerk. You have to judge her as that.
Yeah, she's had no training. But Jamie, Arnold gets...
This is where he's in the flames. I kind of jumped ahead a little.
Oh, right.
He's in the flames. Like, she must assume he's dead. He's in the water, right?
And she gets kidnapped.
And she gets kidnapped by Juno, the woman.
Yeah. Hope you didn't forget about her, because we did.
Because literally everyone did.
Everyone did.
And they're in the back of a limo having a fight. Right?
Yeah.
They're getting really slap happy.
Right, because what they forgot is that Jamie Lee Curtis, they never checked her bag, but she brought her tracking device with her all the way to the Florida Keys. They never did a bag search. So the Omega Sector, the last line of defense, they do come just as Jamie Lee Curtis has left, poor timing, and they rescue Arnold.
He does a Terminator walk through the flames moment. Like he's walking.
It was weird
flames.
because he was in the water, which is a pretty safe place to be during a mass fire, and then he finds his way back into the burning building, only to walk out of the burning building to greet the Omega Sector
Omegas.
people.
Yeah.
So he's like, we gotta go. It's important.
And then we're cross-cutting between that and like the cat fight in the back of the car.
Yeah.
I don't like to use the word cat fight, but that's what they're just trying to paint that.
It's just like, it's
two women fighting.
It was two women fighting like with high heels and like with wine bottles. It was just like, okay.
They were keeping it goofy.
And it's sort of all for naught because neither of them deals like a fatal blow. They just go back and forth. Mm-hmm. And they blow up the bridge. Arnold and the boys blow up the bridge, and they have to get Jamie Lee Curtis out of the limo. And in the last minute, they're able to retrieve her from the limousine moonroof as Juno goes tumbling towards her demise.
Oh, does she? Okay, good.
Well, we never see her again, so I guess
we just don't see her again. She just is like, oh no. We see wide eyes. We see the car approaching the end of the bridge.
Yeah.
We see Arnold dangling from an aircraft. It's really tense. It's a really tense ending scene. There's a couple of misses before they can clasp hands and at the last second get her out.
And there is a funny thing because Jamie Lee Curtis is talking to Arnold, and Arnold's like, the bridge is out. The bridge is out.
Oh,
and
as if she didn't see until that moment.
But she doesn't hear him. And then she like looks out front. She goes, the bridge is out.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a little bit of that like mistaken...
Classic married couple miscommunicating.
The miscommunication in the air. And okay, we'll give them half a point for that level of parody right there. To have that discussion in that moment of time at the most tense point, to have a marital miscommunication as you're dangling from a helicopter. Okay.
I mean that's funny. They rescue her, and luckily the nuke has been placed at the bottom of the ocean, and I
forgot about that. They encase it in like concrete, and then
they encase it in concrete, and I guess it was in the limo or one of the cars that went into the water, and they are maybe, I don't know, a mile away from the nuke, and Arnold goes, we should be safe here. It's going to go off in 90 seconds, but
and then it's
we're
like,
good.
Boom. Yeah.
And as the nuclear blast is going off, they share a kiss.
And there's like a mushroom cloud in the background. Kiss.
The radiation from this, they're
in danger. If they weren't already in danger, they're in danger. This is lifetime of danger at this point.
Yeah. They won't feel the effects of this for years, but it's
this is the moment in time where I wish the movie ended.
I thought that too.
It needed to.
But then they add
end.
Like the movie could have ended here, but then they go, Tom Arnold's like, hey, sorry to bring this up, but
remember your slut of a daughter that I criticized in the opening?
Yeah.
They got her,
and he's like, there's nothing, don't worry about it. We're going to go take care of it. But just want to let you know, don't get upset.
Yeah.
And
don't try to do anything about it. you crazy spy.
He's literally like, don't do anything about it. We're going to go handle it. And I sort of was like,
no.
Do we have to go?
Another point where I was going to be like, can we just cover the movie up to here? Like, I don't want to keep going.
I think we had to. I'm going to make this quick because they eventually go back to the city. What sucked about this last section was that, okay, remember at the end of The Incredibles where the family works together to stop Syndrome? And all the family members play a part.
Good.
You know what I mean? Like Violet has to play a part, the little boy who runs fast.
I know.
And
I wanted Jamie Lee to come, him and her to get together and do it.
Because they essentially defeated Syndrome on that island, but then the only reason to have the final battle is so that the whole family can work together.
Yes.
This scene is strange because Jamie Lee Curtis is not in it.
Yeah, he leaves her behind again. He leaves her in the dark. You wouldn't understand. He doesn't say that, but
this scene is silly.
Implied.
I mean, his daughter needs to be rescued. Spoiler alert, he rescues her. He shoots the terrorist on a missile into all the other terrorists.
That's the you're fired.
That's the you're fired. Yeah. And that's it. That's the scene.
Yeah. And oh my God, I don't want to ever, you know what? I won't talk about it. Never mind. I was going to say they give the daughter a half a point of agency because she steals the key. Yeah. The terrorist is like, the city will blow up in 2 seconds with the twist of this key. And he looks and the key's gone and she's got it. And I'm like, okay, too little, too late, not enough. But thank you. Thank you for not just making this woman look like a pig for slaughter.
I mean, you're right. She does try to thwart the operation. And thanks to her, they don't light up the city with a nuclear bomb.
Yeah,
that is true. But
I'll double down on that. It's not enough.
It's not enough because, and again, I said I wasn't going to talk about the scene, but her behavior after that was just a little insufferable.
Oh, the daughter?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm giving her every pass under the sun, and I don't even care that she was calling him daddy.
That's what I was gonna say.
Daddy.
Here's what would have been funny is if, like, in her bag, she had the snow globe that she uses to hit the terrorist over his head with.
Back.
Something funny. Or there's a vending machine that only takes 20s, and she puts the $20 in to get something funny.
Dad's 20 saves her. Yeah. The snow globe saving her. That would have been very funny.
That is what I was waiting for, and that's why I'm like, we know two things about this daughter. She doesn't like snow globes, and she has $20. So, like, how can we use that to further this scene? But they didn't find an organic way to plug those two pieces of characterization in.
Well, she's on top of a building and a crane. They couldn't organically slip either of those in.
They couldn't fit them in.
A little hard to do.
So, anyway, Arnold saves the day,
girl.
rescues her. And
it's like it's supposed to have one of those like really nice conclusive I'll never let go, I'm your dad, you can trust me endings where, in the beginning he doesn't show up for the birthday party, at the end he's dragging her through the sky to a birthday party. Like, it's supposed to be like that sort of bookend.
Right.
Nope, it doesn't work at all because we forgave him very quickly for the beginning for not showing up. And to the point where when he does come through at the end, it's almost meaningless. We're like, okay.
Well, great. I think what's hard is that a lot of these movies where, like, the dad has to about face at the end to reconcile with the daughter, he usually has to go above and beyond, right, to repair the relationship. His job is to do this. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So he's really just doing his job.
He's just doing the bare minimum.
Right.
That's how they framed it.
It appears like he's doing a lot, but it's actually just his job.
Yeah, it's literally just his job. It's like he owes her that, at least that.
Yeah. So he saves her, and
then we get a little epilogue.
That's that scene. And then there's one more scene that we get where we've cut back to our familiar spot of many a scene launching, the dinner table. And
this was insufferable.
Okay, so we hear 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war. And we see Arnold is doing 2-on-1 thumb war with his daughter and his wife.
Yeah.
Why? Why is this happening at the end?
I'd pay them the $100K to know what went down on set this day. I feel like the script might have had something like they're eating dinner.
Yeah.
And James Cameron was like, not enough to show that you are together. You know, like
they're
how do
holding
we
hands.
show that you're like a happy family?
Yeah.
And I would have been like a game of Parcheesi. Sorry.
Jenga. Something.
Jenga. And you're all giggity and laughing.
A thumb war is just weird.
Thumb war. It's not even human behavior.
You're right.
It's not even human.
It's like, what?
Have you thumb wrestled your dad and post 6 years old?
No. And like, it was just so
bizarre.
Jamie, and thank God, because the phone rings and Jamie has to, stop playing thumb wrestling to pick up the phone.
God forbid.
And they say, Doris, and she goes, we're on.
I'm like, well, the babe got her spice up after all.
I guess what we're led to believe is that Jamie Lee Curtis is now also a member of Omega Sector, the last line of defense. And
with no prior qualifications, but
yeah, like, I hope she got a training.
A nepotism hire.
Nepotism at its worst.
Yeah.
But she is also now, and what a great way to parent your child, right? If you guys both go down on a mission, I hope those snow globes are worth something. So
she won't harbor any resentments.
Yeah.
She can have all the 20s she wants.
They go to their next mission, and they're schmoozing.
Presumably together.
No, yeah, together. And they're schmoozing with the different dignitaries and the people, and they're like, have you seen our mark? No, not yet. And who appears at the party?
Did I turn off the movie at this point?
Simon. Remember? Simon is there as a cater waiter.
Oh, yeah, so he can pee again. Okay. I just panicked. You just saw me panic that I turned off the movie at the call. Because I thought the movie ends. I thought the movie ended on Doris. We're on. Fade to black. No. They go to the party.
Well, okay, let me pause you there because this is actually something interesting that I noticed about the movie. Is that there were, and I guess it might have been a technological thing of the time, but the transition from the scenes, there were a lot of like fade to black. So a lot of times you thought the movie was over because it was these strange transitions from scene to scene.
Not only did you think the movie was over, you were hoping
the movie could have been over. I mean, you could have ended the movie at the thumb wrestling scene. You could have ended it before the thumb wrestling scene. Nothing would have changed.
You could have ended at the kiss.
I would have ended it at the kiss if I was.
Me too. I would have ended it at the kiss as well.
They could have ended at the kiss and then jumped to the epilogue if they really wanted this little epilogue scene.
Yeah,
but
you don't need it.
You don't need it.
Don't need it.
Anyway, so they're there. Simon's there. They scare him again. How fun is that? He pees his pants on the floor, on the dance floor.
What a loser. He's a cater waiter, right?
Yeah, he's a cater waiter. They scare him, and then Tom Arnold's like, keep your eyes peeled, and then the tango music plays.
Yeah, and they tango.
And a repeat from the beginning where Arnold has tango with that other lady, Juno. He's going to tango with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Now I'm going to say,
what?
Of all of the rewrites that we've given them, bring back the snow globe, bring back the 20, bring back this, bring back that, they chose to bring back a tango he did with someone
another
who
woman.
Wasn't his wife.
Right.
Someone who he was pretty much flirting with and like cheating on his wife with emotionally.
It's like, does she know that he did this dance with someone else?
They're like, now let's bookend this family flick with a tango with his real wife.
Right. So like, okay, go back to the scene where it was his birthday dinner, right? Scratch that and just say, hey, are you going to make it to our dance class tonight? You promised me you were going to come to our
salsa or whatever,
our
tango,
salsa class.
Whatever. Make it a tango still.
Then it was like, okay, clearly they've gone to their classes. They've been spending time together, and now they.
Are you gonna make it tonight? And he's got a rose in his hand, and he goes, "I wouldn't miss it for the world." And he twirls the rose to the point where the rose comes back in the bedroom. Remember when they're making out, and I was very uncomfortable.
Ugh.
And then he could have brought back a rose again. Just something, just anything to key us in that we're okay.
And it was kind of funny the way that they were like passing the rose back and forth and like the over topness of it. And like at one point she does fall on the ground, which was pretty funny once the camera zooms back and you can see him just like dragging her along the floor.
She's good with falls. Jamie Lee really goes for the falls.
That
She's
was a
great at
really, really funny scene because the camera had zoomed back enough so you see everybody doing the same steps and she just falls. I enjoyed that as a way to end the movie.
Yeah, she's great with physical comedy. I'm definitely thinking of Freaky Friday in these moments.
Yeah.
I think that I wanted to liken her to Cameron Diaz in Night and Day. Cameron's like beautiful, stunning, great with the falls, very goofy.
It's a similar role, but unfortunately for Jamie Lee Curtis, the writing in Night and Day was just so much better because it communicates the satire.
It communicated the satire effectively.
Better.
And this was like, if they were joking, it was real hard to tell sometimes.
It was sort of like what we were talking about with Practical Magic in the sense that when you ebb and flow between these different genres, like comedy, action, if you stay too muted in the middle, it can be hard, right? So to really dive deep into comedy or dive deeply into the drama. And like it stayed so much in the middle that it was like, in the same way that it was like, okay, now we're dealing with domestic violence. Here it's like, oh, we're dealing with like him kidnapping his wife. It's like,
Yeah, it provided no comfort blanket of like you can lean on one or the other. So if you didn't really know how to take something, in a movie like Night and Day, you could default to, this is a joke. Like he's drugging her to get her from locale to locale. Yeah. She's asking no questions. Okay, we're going to default to, this is parody of the spy flick where they just wake up in Switzerland. They just wake up and they're there. So I could default to that. In this movie, it was dangerous to default to funny when you weren't really sure.
No, it was, no.
Oh my God. And I don't know. Like we said in the opening, I think there's a reason this one's buried.
It's buried. It's buried. And here's the thing. I enjoyed it from a performance level. I enjoyed Jamie Lee Curtis's performance. I enjoyed Arnold Schwarzenegger's performance. I wish he had more comedy to do, but that's okay. I enjoyed the guy who played Simon. I thought he was really funny.
Yeah, Bill Paxton killed it. He's the best one. Simon.
Will I watch this movie again? Probably not.
Hell no.
It's 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Never get back that
you have
time.
You have to carve out a lot of time to watch True Lies. But
let's see what I wrote.
Oh.
I wrote,
James Cameron, turn it off now if you're listening.
I know. Like I really want to work for you one day, but this was a miss, sweetie.
Oh.
I just wrote, I have no problems with our leads' performances. They made all the logical choices, and it's not like I can do better, but I can truly never watch this ever again. That's what I wrote.
Yeah.
They made their director happy. They honored what was on the page. They did their job with what they were given. This should never have been written like this.
I can feel the joy in your voice as you say those statements. You know what does make me feel good about this movie is
I like Arnold Schwarzenegger a lot, and I like Jamie Lee Curtis a lot.
I like them, and I don't actively seek out Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I enjoyed his performance here. Now, I was also pleased to learn that Jamie Lee Curtis won a Golden Globe for this.
Shocking. I was shook to my core.
Wow.
Imagine going through your resume and it's like a Golden Globe and you're like, wow, and it's this movie.
Yeah.
The one movie that I would condone, like we said earlier, putting it in a pile and burying it forever.
Yeah.
That sucks that this is the one. Give her a Globe for Freaky Friday.
I know.
She deserved it. She saved that movie.
You never win for your best work. Well, this was in the comedy category.
Yeah, you're right. It was like Freaky Friday was like a children's family flick, but you're right. Time and time again on Star Vehicle Pod, we've seen that you never win for what we're calling your best work.
I will say this. I am glad, like, this was, problematic AF, but I am very glad that we watched this because coming off of Halloween and Halloween Kills, I really needed a different perspective on Jamie Lee Curtis to kind of close the chapter on that arc that we've been doing. And I'm glad that we did this because it's something neither of us has seen before. I think if we had done Freaky Friday, it would have been, we've both seen it and we both love it. And I think this gave us,
fest.
I think this gave us a new take because she hasn't been in that many movies.
Yeah.
To choose from. That would be big starring
roles.
roles.
Work and a vehicle for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm happy we chose this one too. Like I said, I will never watch it again. But you're right. Freaky Friday is just a good movie. It's a good movie. It's just so good. She tonally really took that one into comedy land and saved it in a way, and it was really funny. Literally, she saved it because I did hear that she was like a last minute hire on Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
They brought her in like the day before.
I read that.
But the other final thing I want to say is like this movie really makes me kind of reckon with our thesis that like it's always just good to see a movie star.
Mm-hmm.
Because we said we liked their performances, but not even these movie stars could make me watch this again. Yeah. So it's making me really put my money where my mouth is because I'm just like, no, it's always good to see a movie star. Like I will always sign up and I will always go.
I think I agree with you in this and slightly disagree only in the sense that I enjoyed their performances and I think they did a great job, but I think the rest of the movie didn't work. And it was like, it was only because of their performances that I could watch the movie.
That is watchable. And also it definitely goes along with our thesis because would they have like gotten my money at the time? Probably. I would have been like, oh, I love them. If this movie came out
now, we would have gone to the theater.
Yeah, we both would have gone.
Like,
I'm
I would
powerless.
Totally go. I would totally go.
Yeah,
so,
you know what? You're right. Like, I would see their names and I would go. I would think it's like, oh, this is going to be funny.
Yeah. I think it actually fits in a lot of the ideas because I think part of the reason why this movie got funded is because it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was coming off of Terminator, which obviously isn't,
Cameron.
It's a fictional movie, but I guess arguably Terminator makes more sense than this. It's like you can't make a movie like this unless you can demonstrate that your star is going to bring in the money.
Yeah. You don't get $100 million to make a movie if you can't bring that back.
And you know that
let's see if it brought it back.
If somebody, I'm sure it did. If somebody ran this script across the desk of a desk, like I don't know how it works, but they were like,
sort of higher up somewhere.
And they read it. They were probably like, this is insane. But because you're James Cameron and because you're Arnold Schwarzenegger and you have Jamie Lee Curtis, you can do it because we have no doubt that it's going to make back all of its money.
Yeah. I'm trying to act all on my high horse here, but I'd probably fund this movie. You would have no choice. Your hands would be tied. It would be James Cameron. It would be Jamie Lee Curtis. It would be Schwarzenegger. It would be 1994. And it would be like this. There couldn't be more sure of a thing.
It's a hit.
Yeah, it's a popcorn movie. It says, budget was around 115. 115 million. Grossed 378 million worldwide.
All right. Well, watch it if you want and if you can find it. If not, that's okay too.
Yeah. And Chanel's going to say, save yourself the time.
Save the trouble. Because it will take you longer to try to watch it than the movie is, if you can even believe that. So you're going to it's a full work day. Number one, to try to find it, and then number two, to watch it. But
this movie is a job. It's
a job.
You gotta be careful.
Well, I think we did it.
I feel a lot better having talked about it. I was kind of spiraling out.
Talk therapy.
This is talk therapy for me. I was really spiraling out last night. I was like, can we do this? I think I should quit. I think I'm going to close the computer. But
I think I should throw my computer away. No.
Yeah. The whole machine has to go. It's been tainted. It's been tainted with this link to this movie. No, I feel much better. Thank you, Steven. Right. Thank you so much. Problem.
Well,
you really helped me.
What? I accept that thank you. And I also would say thank you to Jamie Lee Curtis for really giving it your all. Thank you, Bill Paxton, for making me lol. Thank you, Arnold, for
just being you.
Yeah. And
you had the easiest job in the movie. No offense. It was stacked in your favor.
Yeah.
So thank you for just being you.
All right. And I think
that'll do it, Steven.
that'll do it.
Yeah, all right, guys, don't forget to rate, don't forget to review. Once we get a handful of them, we will read your comment live on air.
Yeah, we're going to gather them up.
Please. We aggregate them on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review there. Don't leave it on YouTube. Don't DM it to me. We will not read it from there.
All right.
All right. Thanks so much. Bye, Steven.
Bye, everyone. Don't
Bye.
get caught up in international crime syndicates.
Don't get caught up in a true lie.
Oh.
Okay.